Maya Richardson Hartwell thought the hardest decision of her life was letting her ex-husband Marcus back into their daughter's life after he'd abandoned them for money 11 years ago. But she was wrong, because when Marcus collapsed at their daughter Naomi's 14th birthday party, and the doctor said he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, the same cancer that killed Ma's father, and only 6 months to live without a $2 million experimental treatment he couldn't afford, Mia faced a choice that would divide the entire internet. Does a woman who's worth $5 billion let the man who destroyed her die? Or does she pay $2 million to save him, not because he deserves it, but because their daughter is begging her to? What made this impossible wasn't just the money, it was the timing. Because Maya had finally moved on. She'd finally let someone new into her heart. A good man who'd never betrayed her, who loved her. And Naomi, who was everything Marcus wasn't. And he was standing in her kitchen saying, "If you pay for Marcus's treatment, I don't think I can stay because it means you'll never really be free of him." So Maya had to choose. Save the father who'd abandoned her daughter or protect the future she'd finally built. But here's the part that made this decision impossible. The part that would leave millions of people divided in the comments. Maya's new boyfriend wasn't wrong. Because even after 3 years of Marcus proving he'd changed, even after supervised visits became unsupervised, even after he'd shown up for every birthday and every school play and every moment that mattered, Maya still woke up some mornings with her chest tight, remembering the day he'd signed divorce papers while she was grieving her father. Still heard his voice saying, "You'll never be enough," echoing in the quiet moments. Still carried scars that had healed over but never fully disappeared. And now she had to decide. Was mercy about saving someone who'd destroyed you? Or was it about finally choosing herself, her peace, her future with a man who'd never made her feel small? Because what nobody tells you about forgiveness is that it doesn't erase the past. It just teaches you to live with it, and Maya was about to find out if she could live with watching Marcus die or if living with saving him would cost her everything she'd finally found. Listen, if you haven't watched parts 1, 2, and 3 of Maya's story, the links are in the description, and you absolutely need to watch them because what's about to happen will only make sense if you understand the 11-year journey that brought us here. But if you're caught up, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications because this final part is going to test everything you think you know about mercy, boundaries, and what we owe the people who once broke us. Smash that like button if you've ever had to choose between justice and compassion and comment below. If you were Maya, what would you do? Let him die or save him? Be honest, because millions of people are going to have opinions about the choice she makes. And I want to know where you stand before you see what happens. The birthday party had been perfect up until the moment it wasn't. Naomi's 14th birthday, a backyard celebration with 20 of her closest friends, string lights hanging from the trees, a chocolate cake that had taken Maya 3 tries to get right because Naomi had very specific opinions about frosting to cake ratios and music playing from speakers while teenagers laughed and took selfies and reminded Maya that her baby was growing up faster than she was ready for. Marcus had arrived right on time, carrying a gift-wrapped box and wearing the nervous smile he always wore at these gatherings, like he still couldn't quite believe he was allowed to be there. 3 years of consistent fatherhood hadn't erased his awareness that he was the guest who'd earned his invitation through years of proving himself rather than the automatic right of biology. Maya watched him from the kitchen window where she was refilling the lemonade pitcher and felt that familiar complicated knot in her chest. Gratitude that he'd shown up, relief that Naomi was happy, and underneath it all, a whisper of resentment she'd never quite silenced that said, "He gets to be here now after missing the first 11 years, after destroying me, after everything. You okay?" A voice behind her, warm and steady, and she turned to see David Chen, her boyfriend of 8 months, the man who'd walked into her life last year at a foundation fundraiser, and somehow made her believe she could trust again. David was everything Marcus wasn't. Patient where Marcus had been impulsive, steady where Marcus had been volatile, present where Marcus had been absent. He worked as a pediatric surgeon, spent his weekends volunteering at free clinics, and treated Naomi with the careful respect of someone who understood he wasn't trying to replace her father, just support her mother. "I'm fine," Mia said, letting him pull her close. "Just thinking about how weird it is that this feels normal now. Marcus being here, us being here together, all of it." David kissed her forehead. "Normal is good, normal is what you deserve." Out in the yard, Marcus was teaching a group of teenage boys some complicated card trick, his hands moving with practiced ease, and Naomi was watching him with the kind of uncomplicated affection that made Mia's heart ache. Her daughter loved her father. Actually loved him, not despite what he'd done, but in a way that existed separate from it. in the present tense where Marcus showed up and tried and loved her back. "Mama," Naomi called through the open window. "Come out here. Marcus is about to do the trick Grandpa James taught him." Ma's breath caught. Marcus had never known her father. James had died before they could meet, or rather, James had died during that hospital visit where Marcus had asked about life insurance money. But over the past 3 years, Marcus had asked Mia questions about her father, what he was like, what he valued, what mattered to him. And Maya had answered slowly, carefully, giving Marcus pieces of the man whose legacy he'd once tried to exploit. She walked outside with David, the early autumn air cool against her skin, and watched as Marcus performed an elaborate card trick that ended with him producing the ace of hearts with a flourish. "Your Grandpa James used to do this at the elementary school," Marcus said to Naomi. "Your mama told me about it. He'd do it for kids who were having bad days to make them smile." Naomi beamed. "Can you teach me?" "Absolutely. Next visit," and then he stopped mid-sentence. His hand went to his chest, his face drained of color so fast it looked like someone had pulled a plug. "Marcus." Naomi's voice went high with concern. He tried to smile, tried to say something, but instead his knees buckled and he went down hard, collapsing onto the grass while 14 teenagers screamed and parents rushed forward. And Maya's training from years of foundation crisis management kicked in automatically. "Call 911, she shouted, dropping to her knees beside him, checking for a pulse for breathing. Her hands shaking because this was Marcus. This was Naomi's father. This was happening at her daughter's birthday party. David was already on the phone, already giving the address. His doctor voice calm and clinical. Male, early 40s, sudden collapse, unconscious but breathing, possible cardiac event. Marcus's eyes fluttered open, unfocused, and he looked at Maya with an expression she'd never seen on his face before. Pure primal fear. "Naomi," he whispered, "don't let her see me like this." But it was too late. Naomi was there, tears streaming down her face, trying to push past the adults to get to her father. "Daddy, Daddy, wake up." The word hit Maya like a freight train. Daddy, not Marcus. Daddy. When had that changed? The ambulance arrived in 7 minutes. That felt like 7 hours. They loaded Marcus onto a stretcher, hooked him to monitors that beeped in rhythms Mia didn't understand. And David went with them because he was a doctor and could translate, leaving Mia to hold her sobbing daughter while the party guests awkwardly gathered their things in the perfect birthday dissolved into trauma. Harold arrived within the hour, summoned by Mia's panicked call, and took over managing the logistics, sending the other parents home, cleaning up the yard, being the steady presence that let Mia fall apart in the privacy of her kitchen, while Naomi cried herself to sleep upstairs. "He's at Mercy General," Harold said gently. David texted, "They're running tests. He's stable for now." "What happened? Did David say?" "They don't know yet. But Maya, you need to prepare yourself. The way Marcus looked, the suddenness of it, that's not good." Maya's phone buzzed. "David, we need to talk. Can you come to the hospital?" She looked at Harold at the disaster of what should have been a celebration, at her hands still shaking from performing CPR on the man she'd once loved and then hated, and now something more complicated than either. "Stay with Naomi," she said. "I'm going." The hospital smelled like disinfectant and fear. And Maya had spent enough time in hospitals, watching her father die, giving birth to Naomi alone, supporting women through the Foundation's healthcare programs to hate every sterile inch of them. David met her in the hallway outside the ICU, still in his dress shirt from the party, but with a doctor's badge clipped to his collar now, existing in both worlds. "How bad?" Maya asked. "Bad?" David's face was grave. "Maya, they found a mass pancreatic cancer advanced. The collapse was likely related to complications from tumor pressure on surrounding organs." The world tilted. Pancreatic cancer. The same thing that had killed her father. How advanced? Stage 4. It spread to his liver. Without treatment, they're giving him 4 to 6 months. With standard treatment, maybe 8 to 12. But there's an experimental trial at Johns Hopkins. MI therapy combined with targeted radiation? Early results are promising. Could potentially extend his life significantly, maybe even remission if he responds well. What's the catch? David's expression told her everything before he said the words. It's not covered by insurance. It's experimental. The cost is around $2 million for the full course of treatment. Mia's laugh was bitter. Of course, it is. Mia, I know what you're thinking. Do you? Do you know that I'm thinking about my father dying of this same cancer while Marcus was asking him about life insurance money? Do you know that I'm thinking about how Marcus walked away from Naomi when she was born and now my daughter is upstairs sobbing because her daddy might die? Do you know what I'm thinking, David? He pulled her into a quiet consultation room away from nurses and patients and the performance of composure. I know you're angry. I know this is impossibly unfair. And I know that 2 million is nothing to you financially, but everything to you emotionally. He doesn't have the money. No, his insurance will cover palliative care hospice when the time comes, but not the experimental treatment he'd need to pay out of pocket. Maya sat down heavily in one of the plastic chairs. Can I see him? He's asked not to see you. Not yet. He says he needs time to process to figure out what he wants to say. He collapsed at my daughter's birthday party and he doesn't want to see me. He's ashamed, Maya. He knows what this means. He knows what he's going to have to ask, and he's trying to figure out if he can bring himself to do it. They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of the unspoken settling between them. Finally, David said, if he asks you to pay for the treatment, what will you say? I don't know, Maya. I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear me. David took her hands, his surgeon's hands, that saved children's lives, and his voice was gentle but firm. If you pay for Marcus's treatment, I don't think I can stay with you. Mia's head snapped up. What? I love you. I love Naomi. I want to build a future with you. But Maya, you're worth 5 billion, and you still have nightmares about what Marcus did to you. You still flinch sometimes when I reach for you. You still carry scars from a man who abandoned you at your lowest moment. And if you pay 2 million to save him, it tells me you'll never really be free, that he'll always have power over you. This isn't about him having power. It's about my daughter not watching her father die. Is it? Or is it about you trying to prove you're the bigger person? That you're more merciful than he was? Maya, you don't owe him this. You don't owe him anything. But I owe Naomi. You owe Naomi a mother who's healed? Who can show her what healthy boundaries look like? Who doesn't sacrifice herself to save the people who hurt her? David stood pacing. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong if you choose to help him. I'm saying I can't watch you disappear into that guilt and obligation. I can't compete with a ghost. And if you save Marcus, even if he lives, he'll be the ghost in our relationship forever. Maya stared at him. This good man, this man who'd never hurt her, who was asking her to choose. You're giving me an ultimatum. I'm telling you the truth about what I can live with. And I can't live knowing that the woman I love will always put the man who destroyed her first. Before Maya could respond, a nurse knocked on the door. Miss Richardson Hartwell, Mr. Richardson is asking for you now. Maya stood on shaking legs, looked at David, at the future she'd started to believe in, and walked out of the room toward Marcus's bedside, knowing that whatever happened next would change everything. Marcus looked smaller in that hospital bed than Maya had ever seen him. Not just physically diminished by the tubes and monitors and pale hospital gown, but fundamentally reduced in a way that made her chest tight with something she didn't want to name. He was 43 years old, the same age her father had been when diagnosed, and the parallel was so cruel it felt deliberate, like the universe was forcing her to relive the worst year of her life with the man who'd made it worse. Thank you for coming, Marcus said, his voice. The collapse had damaged something in his throat during the fall, the doctor said. Everything about him was breaking down. Maya pulled a chair close, but not too close, maintaining the physical distance that represented the emotional one. David told me, stage 4. I'm sorry, are you? The question wasn't accusatory. It was genuine, like he really wanted to know if the woman he destroyed could feel compassion for him now that he was dying. Yes, I wouldn't wish this on anyone, not even you. Marcus laughed, a broken sound. Not even me. That's something, I guess. He shifted in the bed, wincing. The doctors explained the options. Standard treatment buys me maybe a year, most of it sick from chemo. Experimental treatment might give me more, might give me real time, but it costs $2 million. I know. Of course, you know. David told you. Marcus looked at her with those eyes that Naomi had inherited. And Mia saw the question forming before he asked it. Maya, I don't have the right to ask you for anything. I know that, but I'm going to ask anyway because I'm desperate and scared and I don't want to die without knowing my daughter, really knowing her. These past 3 years have been the best of my life, watching her grow up, being her dad, and I need more time. Please, you're asking me to pay for your treatment. I'm asking you to give me a chance to live long enough to be the father I should have been from the beginning. I'm asking for time to make amends, to show Naomi what a real father looks like, too. To what, Marcus? To ease your guilt, to die with a clear conscience. Maya's voice was sharp now. All the rage she'd buried for 3 years bubbling up. You had 11 years to be her father, and you chose not to. You chose to abandon us. You chose to marry your mistress at my father's funeral. You chose to try to take Naomi for money. You made choices, and now you want me to save you from the consequences. Yes, his honesty was devastating. Yes, I want you to save me from consequences I deserve. Because Naomi doesn't deserve to watch her father die. She's 14, she finally has a dad who shows up. And if I die now, she'll spend the rest of her life wondering if she could have saved me. If you could have saved me, Maya, this isn't about me. It's about protecting our daughter from trauma. Don't you dare weaponize our daughter against me. Don't you dare make this about protecting her when you're the one who's dying. But I am dying and I'm terrified, and I hate that I have to beg you, that I have to ask the woman I destroyed for mercy, but I don't have any pride left. I just have 6 months and a daughter who loves me in a desperate need for more time. Tears were streaming down his face now. Ugly crying, the kind that strips away all pretense. I know what I did to you. I know I don't deserve this, but Naomi deserves a father. Please, please don't let me die when you could save me. Maya stood abruptly, the chair scraping against the linoleum. I need air. She made it to the hallway before the tears came, pressing her back against the wall, sliding down until she was sitting on the cold hospital floor, trying to breathe through the impossible weight of this choice. Save the man who destroyed her or let him die and live with that decision forever. Teach Naomi that mercy means sacrificing yourself, or teach her that boundaries matter even when they hurt. Her phone rang. Harold, Maya, Naomi woke up. She's asking about Marcus. What do I tell her? The truth. He's sick. Very sick. How sick? Cancer. 6 months without treatment. Harold's sharp intake of breath told her he understood the cruel irony. Like your father. Exactly like my father. Harold, what do I do? What do you want to do? I want to go back in time and never let him into our lives. I want Naomi to never have known him so she wouldn't hurt like this. I want, her voice broke. I want someone to tell me what the right answer is. Maya, listen to me. There is no right answer. There's only the answer you can live with. Can you live with letting him die? I don't know. Can you live with saving him? I don't know that either. Harold was quiet for a moment. Your father left you a letter for every occasion. Did you know that? Before he died, he wrote dozens of letters for different moments in your life. Your wedding, Naomi's graduation, moments he knew he'd miss. I have them in a secure vault. He made me promise to give them to you at the right times. Maya's breath caught. Why are you telling me this now? Because he left one for this exact scenario. He called it when mercy costs everything. He must have known, must have predicted that someday you'd face a choice like this. Do you want me to bring it to you? Yes. No, I don't know. Maya pressed her hand to her chest, feeling her heartbeat against her palm. What would he tell me to do? I don't know, but I know he'd trust you to make the right choice for you. Not for Marcus, not even for Naomi. For you. After Maya hung up, she sat in that hallway for 20 minutes, watching nurses move past, listening to the sounds of the hospital, beeping monitors, hushed conversations, someone crying in a room down the hall. All this suffering, all these people fighting for more time. And Marcus was just one of them. Not special because he'd betrayed her. Not unworthy of life because he'd been cruel. Just another human being desperate not to die. Her phone buzzed. A text from Naomi. Mama, Uncle Harry told me about Daddy. I need to talk to you. Please come home. Maya drove home in a daze, the city lights blurring through her tears. David's words echoing. If you save Marcus, you'll never be free of him. Harold's words. What can you live with? Marcus's words. Please don't let me die. Naomi was waiting in the living room, curled up on the couch in her pajamas, her eyes red and swollen from crying. She looked so young, so vulnerable. And Maya remembered with painful clarity what it felt like to be 14 and watch a parent slip away. Mama, is Daddy going to die? Mia sat beside her, pulling Naomi close. The doctors say he's very sick, baby. He has cancer, the same kind Grandpa James had. Can they fix it? There's a treatment that might help, but it's expensive and his insurance won't cover it. Naomi pulled back, looking at her mother with those intelligent eyes that saw too much. How expensive, Barry? But you could afford it. It wasn't a question. Naomi was 14, not stupid. She'd grown up knowing her family was wealthy, understanding in an abstract way that money was rarely an obstacle for them. Yes, I could afford it. Then why are you talking like you might not pay for it? Naomi's voice rose, panic creeping in. Mama, you have to save him. Naomi, it's more complicated than it's not complicated. My daddy is dying and you can save him and you're thinking about not doing it. Naomi stood, her whole body shaking with fury and fear. I know what he did to you. I know he left us. I know he was terrible, but Mama, he's my dad. He's been showing up for 3 years. He loves me, and you're just going to let him die because of something that happened when I was a baby? Naomi, that's not fair. Nothing is fair, nothing. Grandpa James died and I never got to meet him. And now Daddy is going to die and I'm going to lose him, too. And you could stop it. You could fix this, but you won't because you can't forgive him. Naomi was crying now, tears streaming down her face, and every word was a knife in Maya's chest. I thought you were the kindest person in the world. I thought you helped people, but you're going to let my daddy die. Naomi, please listen. But Naomi ran upstairs, her door slamming so hard the whole house shook. Maya sat there in the silence, her daughter's words echoing like an indictment. You're going to let my daddy die. Harold appeared in the doorway, having heard everything. She's young, she's scared, she doesn't understand. She understands perfectly. Her father is dying and her mother has the power to save him and is choosing not to. That's what she understands. Maya stood, her whole body feeling like it might shatter. Harold, what did my father say in that letter? Are you sure you want to read it now? I'm not sure about anything, but I need to hear his voice. Harold pulled an envelope from his jacket. He'd brought it, knowing she'd ask. The envelope was yellowed at the edges, sealed with wax, her father's handwriting on the front. For Maya, when mercy costs everything. Her hands shook as she opened it. My darling Maya, if you're reading this, you're facing an impossible choice. Someone who hurt you needs help that only you can provide, and you're trying to figure out if mercy means saving them or protecting yourself. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I learned in my years on this earth. Mercy isn't about whether someone deserves it. That's justice. Mercy is about who you want to be when someone doesn't deserve it. I chose mercy when I forgave the family that disowned me. I chose mercy when I walked away from billions to love your mother. I chose mercy every time I mopped those floors and remembered I could have been a CEO. And mercy made me free. Not because the people I forgave deserved it, but because I deserved to not carry that weight anymore. But here's what I also learned. Mercy has to have boundaries. Mercy doesn't mean letting people destroy you repeatedly. Mercy doesn't mean sacrificing yourself on the altar of someone else's redemption. So ask yourself this: if you help this person, are you doing it because mercy is who you are? Or are you doing it because you're afraid of being called cruel? If it's the first, then help them and don't look back. If it's the second, then protecting yourself is the merciful thing. Merciful to you. You deserve mercy, too, baby girl. Never forget that. Whatever you choose, choose it because it's true to who you are. Not who you think you should be, not who others expect you to be, but who you actually are in your bones. I love you, I trust you, and I'll be proud of you no matter what you decide. Your daddy. Maya read the letter 3 times, her father's voice so clear in her mind, she could almost hear him speaking. And then she made her decision. She called David first. I'm going to pay for Marcus's treatment. Silence on the other end, then. Okay, that's it, just okay. What do you want me to say, Maya? I told you where I stand. You've made your choice, David. This isn't about choosing Marcus over you, isn't it? You're choosing to tie yourself to him for however long this treatment takes. Years, maybe. You're choosing to make him your responsibility. You're choosing to teach Naomi that we sacrifice ourselves to save people who hurt us. His voice was heavy with sadness, not anger. I love you, but I can't watch you do this. I can't be the guy waiting on the sidelines while you pour yourself into saving your ex-husband. So, that's it. You're leaving? I'm giving you space to do what you need to do, and I'm protecting myself from losing more than I already have. Maya, I hope it works. I hope the treatment saves him. I hope Naomi gets more time with her father, but I can't be part of this. I'm sorry. The line went dead. Maya sat there holding her phone, feeling like the floor had dropped out from under her. She'd made her choice, and it had cost her exactly what David said it would. But when she looked at her father's letter at those words, "You deserve mercy, too," she knew something David didn't understand. This wasn't about Marcus deserving to be saved. It was about Maya deserving to not carry the weight of letting him die. She called Harold, set up a meeting with Marcus's oncology team. I'm paying for the treatment, all of it, whatever he needs. Are you sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. She went upstairs and knocked on Naomi's door. Baby, can I come in? Naomi opened the door, her face blotchy from crying. Are you going to save him? Yes. Naomi threw her arms around Maya's waist, sobbing into her mother's chest. Thank you, Mama. I'm sorry I said those things. I'm so sorry. Shush. You were scared. I understand. Maya stroked her daughter's hair, breathing in the scent of her strawberry shampoo, feeling the weight of this decision settle into her bones. But Naomi, I need you to understand something. I'm doing this for you. And I'm doing it because it's who I am. But it doesn't mean everything is fixed. It doesn't mean your father and I are suddenly okay. And it doesn't mean this will work. The treatment might not save him. But he has a chance. Yes, he has a chance. And that, Maya realized, was all any of them ever got a chance. Her father had gotten a chance to leave her a legacy. Marcus had gotten a chance to prove he'd change. Naomi was getting a chance to know her father. And Maya was getting a chance to prove that mercy was stronger than revenge, even when mercy cost everything. The next morning, Mia walked into Marcus's hospital room with Harold, a lawyer, and a contract. Marcus looked up, hope and fear warring on his face. I'm going to pay for your treatment, Mia said without preamble. $2 million for the full course at Johns Hopkins, but we're doing this with conditions. Anything. First, this is a gift, not a loan. You will never owe me money, but you will owe Naomi your presence. If you survive this, you show up. Not just when it's easy. Always. You sign a legal agreement committing to that. Done. Second, if at any point the doctors say the treatment isn't working, if they say it's causing more harm than good, you stop. You don't drag this out. You don't make Naomi watch you suffer for years chasing a miracle that isn't coming. You agree to quality of life over quantity of days. Marcus swallowed hard. Okay. Third, you will attend family therapy, you, me, and Naomi. Because if you survive, we're going to have to figure out how to exist in each other's lives long term, and we're going to do it with professional help. I'll do it. And finally, Ma's voice hardened. You will never ever ask me for anything else. This is it. This is the mercy you get. After this, we're square. I owe you nothing. Do you understand? I understand. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. Maya, I don't know how to thank you. Don't thank me. Don't apologize again. Don't make this about your guilt or your gratitude. Just sign the papers. Go to Johns Hopkins and fight like hell to live for Naomi. Not for me. Never for me. For her. Marcus signed the papers with shaking hands. And Maya walked out of that hospital room feeling lighter and heavier at the same time. Lighter because she'd made her choice and could live with it. Heavier because she knew what it had cost. David was gone. Her peace was shattered. Her future was uncertain. But when she got home and found Naomi waiting with a smile that reached her eyes for the first time since the party, Mia knew she'd chosen right. Not because Marcus deserved to be saved, but because Mia deserved to be the person who could save him and still walk away whole. The experimental treatment at Johns Hopkins was brutal in ways Mia hadn't prepared for. Even after watching her father die of the same disease, the immunotherapy attacked Marcus's system with ferocious intensity. Fever spikes that left him delirious. Nausea so severe he couldn't keep down water. Exhaustion that made standing feel like climbing a mountain. The targeted radiation burned his skin, left him hollow-eyed and skeletal, transformed him from the man who'd collapsed at the birthday party into something that barely resembled him. And Naomi wanted to see all of it. Mama, I need to visit him, she'd say every weekend, her voice carrying that teenage determination that Mia recognized from her own younger self. He needs to know I'm here. So, they went. Every Saturday for 6 months, Maya drove Naomi the 4 hours to Baltimore, sat in sterile hospital rooms that smelled like antiseptic and desperation and watched her daughter hold her father's hand while he vomited into a basin or slept through the pain or tried to smile through the devastation the treatment was wreaking on his body. The doctor said the treatment was working, the tumors were shrinking. Slowly, impossibly, Marcus was responding better than 90% of patients in the trial. But working didn't mean easy. Working meant Marcus was still alive to suffer through every agonizing day of being poisoned in the hope of being cured. Maya had expected to feel resentment, had expected to regret her choice, to look at Marcus suffering and think, I'm paying $2 million for this. But instead, she felt something more complicated. Not compassion exactly, not forgiveness, but a strange peace that came from knowing she'd chosen mercy over bitterness. Even when mercy looked like this, watching her enemy fight for his life with money she'd given him. David never called, never texted. The silence where his voice used to be a CHD like a phantom limb. But Maya didn't reach out. He'd made his choice just like she'd made hers. They were both protecting themselves in different ways. Harold came with them sometimes, providing the steady adult presence that let Maya have moments where she could step out of the hospital, sit in her car, and cry from exhaustion and grief and the sheer overwhelming weight of it all. He never asked if she regretted her choice. He just sat with her, handed her tissues, and reminded her that strength didn't mean never breaking. It meant breaking and choosing to keep going anyway. The family therapy sessions were harder than the hospital visits. Dr. Patricia Morrison, a specialist in blended families and trauma, didn't let any of them hide behind platitudes or performance. She made Marcus confront what his abandonment had caused Naomi, made Naomi articulate her anger alongside her love, made Maya admit that saving Marcus's life didn't erase what he'd done, and that she was allowed to still carry that hurt, even while showing him mercy. "You're angry at him for dying," Dr. Morrison said to Maya during one session, her voice gentle but unflinching. "Not for leaving 11 years ago, for getting sick now, right when Naomi finally had a father, for making you responsible for him again." Maya wanted to deny it, but the truth lodged in her throat like a stone. "Yes, I'm furious at him for this, for putting me in this position, for making me choose between being cruel or being broke, not financially, but emotionally. For taking David away from me, for making Naomi watch this, for all of it." Marcus, thin and pale in the chair across from her, nodded slowly. "You have every right to be angry. I'm angry at me, too. Being angry at yourself doesn't fix anything. I know, but maybe it's a start." 4 months into treatment, Marcus's oncologist called Maya directly, which never happened, which meant something was wrong. "Miss Richardson Hartwell, we need to discuss Marcus's latest scans. Can you come to Baltimore tomorrow?" Mia's stomach dropped. "Just tell me, is it spreading?" "No, it's shrinking significantly. We're seeing unprecedented response rates. But there's a complication, a different kind of complication." The next morning, Maya sat in Dr. Patel's office. Without Naomi, without Harold, just her and the news she was about to receive. Marcus was there, too, looking terrified in ways the cancer diagnosis hadn't made him look. "The treatment is working almost too well," Dr. Patel explained. "The immunotherapy is attacking the cancer cells aggressively, but it's also triggered an autoimmune response. Marcus's body is now attacking his own healthy tissue. His kidneys are failing." Maya's medical knowledge from years of foundation health programs kicked in. "How bad?" "He needs a kidney transplant soon. He's been placed on the donor list, but given his medical history and the ongoing cancer treatment, he's not high priority. Wait time could be 2 to 3 years. He has maybe 6 months before dialysis becomes necessary, and long-term dialysis during cancer treatment significantly reduces his survival odds." The irony was so cruel, Maya almost laughed. She'd paid $2 million to save Marcus from cancer, and now his own immune system was killing him. "Anyway, what about living donation?" Marcus asked quietly. "That would be ideal. If you have a compatible relative or friend willing to donate, we could fast-track the surgery, but the donor would need to be a close match. Blood type, tissue type, several other factors, and they'd need to be in excellent health." After the appointment, Maya and Marcus sat in his hospital room in heavy silence. "I don't have anyone," Marcus finally said. "No siblings. My parents are dead. My extended family wrote me off years ago when I divorced you, and the scandal hit the press. I burned every bridge I ever had. What about Naomi? She's 14, too young to donate. And even if she were older, I'd never ask her to give me part of her body. After everything I've put her through." Mia pulled out her phone, texting Harold. "Need you to run a medical compatibility check. Marcus needs a kidney. Check his file against Foundation donor database." Marcus watched her, understanding dawning. "Maya, no, you've done enough. You've given me so much already. I'm not offering to donate. I'm checking if any of our Foundation clients or staff might be matches. We have a database of people who volunteered for medical trials and donation registries. It's a long shot, but you're trying anyway, even though you could just let me die." "Even though I could let you die," Mia agreed. "Because I made a choice 6 months ago, and I'm seeing it through." Harold's response came 3 hours later. "No matches in database, but Mia, you might want to sit down for this. I ran your blood work from your last physical against Marcus's tissue typing. You're a potential match. 6 out of 6 markers. I've never seen compatibility this close outside of siblings." Mia stared at the text until the words blurred. Of course the universe would do this. Would save Marcus from cancer only to require Ma to literally give him part of herself to keep him alive. She called Harold. "Don't tell anyone. Not Naomi. Not Marcus. Nobody. What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet." But she did know. She'd known the moment she read that text. She just didn't want to admit it. That night, Maya sat in her study staring at her father's portrait, the one where he wore his janitor uniform with such dignity it made her chest ache. "Daddy, You said mercy was about who I want to be. But what if being merciful means destroying myself? What if it means giving away pieces of my actual body to someone who threw me away? The portrait didn't answer, but on her desk, she noticed an envelope she'd never seen before. Harold must have left it when she wasn't looking. Another letter from her father. This one simply said, "When mercy asks for everything." Her hands shook as she opened it. "My darling Maya, if you're reading this, mercy has asked you to sacrifice something that feels like too much. Your safety, your peace, your body, your future, something that makes you question if mercy has any limits at all. And you're trying to figure out if saying no makes you cruel or if saying yes makes you a fool. Let me tell you about the day you were born. Your mother had complications. The doctors said they could save her or save you, but probably not both. And your mother, my beautiful, brave wife, looked at me and said, 'Save the baby. Please save our baby.' I had to choose between the love of my life and the daughter I hadn't even met yet. And your mother made that choice for me by choosing you. She gave everything so you could live. And for years, I was angry at her for that. Angry that she'd left me. Angry that I had to raise you alone. Angry that mercy had cost me everything. But Maya, you turned out to be everything. You were worth every tear, every sleepless night, every moment I missed her. Because she didn't just give you life. She taught me what love actually means. It means giving even when it costs everything. Even when it hurts, even when you'll never get it back. But here's what I learned that she never got to teach you herself. Giving everything doesn't mean giving until you're destroyed. Your mother didn't die to make me suffer. She died so you could live fully and so I could learn to love without limits. If mercy is asking you for something that will harm you, break you, leave you unable to be the person you're meant to be, then mercy isn't asking. Cruelty is. Real mercy has boundaries. Real love protects both the giver and the receiver. So ask yourself, will this gift make you more whole or less? Will it free you or enslave you? And if the answer is less and enslave, then saying no isn't cruelty. It's self-preservation, and self-preservation is holy, too. You don't owe anyone your destruction. Not even in the name of mercy. I love you. Choose yourself when you need to. I'll be proud either way. Your daddy. Maya read the letter until she'd memorized every word. And then she made a decision that surprised even herself. She called Dr. Patel. I'm a match 6 out of 6. I want to move forward with donation evaluation. Miss Richardson Hartwell, this is extraordinary, but I need to make sure you understand what you're committing to. Living kidney donation is major surgery. Recovery is 6 to 8 weeks. There are risks, infection, bleeding, complications. And while most donors live perfectly normal lives with one kidney, there's always a small risk of kidney disease later in life. I understand, and I need to ask, are you being coerced in any way? Given your history with Mr. Richardson? No, this is my choice. My daughter deserves a father, and I can give her that, so I will. She told Naomi that night, expecting gratitude, maybe tears of relief. Instead, Naomi looked horrified. Mama, no, you can't. You already paid for his treatment. You already gave him so much. You can't give him part of your body. Baby, it's the only way. Then let him die. Naomi's words shocked them both. She clapped her hand over her mouth, tears streaming. I didn't mean that, I didn't. But Mama, he left us. He abandoned us. And you're going to let doctors cut you open and take your kidney for him? What if something goes wrong? What if you die? I'm not going to die. You don't know that. And I can't lose you. I can't. Naomi was sobbing now, the same full-body sobs from the night Marcus collapsed. Daddy matters, but you matter more. You're my mom. You've been there every single day of my life, and I'm telling you, I'm begging you. Please don't do this. Maya pulled her daughter close, feeling the weight of impossible choices crushing her chest. What if I told you that I'm not doing this just for him or even for you? What if I told you I'm doing it because giving him this kidney means I never have to wonder if I could have saved him? That I'm buying my own peace with this choice? Then I'd say you're lying to yourself. Naomi pulled back and her 14-year-old eyes held wisdom that shouldn't have been there. You're doing it because you can't stand to be called cruel. Because you're so busy being perfect that you'll destroy yourself to prove you're better than the people who hurt you. The words hit Mia like a slap because they were true, at least partially true. Before Mia could schedule the surgery, an overnight delivery arrived at her brownstone. No return address, just a thick envelope with her name written in handwriting she recognized but hadn't seen in years. Vanessa Chen Doa almost threw it away unopened, but curiosity won. She opened the envelope and pulled out a letter and a cashier's check for $2.4 million. The letter read, Maya, Snorts, I know you don't want to hear from me. I promised I'd never contact you again, but I'm breaking that promise because I heard about Marcus needing a kidney, and I heard that you're planning to donate, and I can't let you do that without telling you something I should have told you years ago. When Marcus and I were together in those early affair days when I thought I was winning and you were losing, he told me something I've never forgotten. He said, Maya is too good. That's the problem. She's so busy being good that she doesn't know how to protect herself. And people like us, Vanessa, we take advantage of that. We use her goodness against her. I laughed when he said it. I thought it made us smart. But now, 5 years into trying to rebuild a life I destroyed, I understand what he was really saying. You give too much. And people like Marcus and me, we take and take until you have nothing left. So, I'm asking you, as someone who hurt you and learned too late what that cost, don't give him your kidney. You've given enough. Let me give instead. I've spent the last year getting tested as a potential donor for someone, anyone. I've been on donor registries trying to do something good, trying to prove I'm more than the worst thing I did. Last month, I got tested against Marcus's profile on the national registry just to see. I'm a match. 4 out of 6 markers. Not as good as you, but good enough. The doctors say it could work. So, here's what I'm proposing. I'll donate my kidney to Marcus. You take this money. It's every cent I've saved over 5 years of living in that shelter, working 3 jobs, rebuilding from nothing. It's not enough to repay what the foundation gave me. But it's something. Use it however you want. But please let me do this. Let me give him something so you don't have to. Not because he deserves it from me any more than he deserves it from you, but because you've carried enough. You've given enough, and someone needs to protect you from your own mercy. Let that someone be me. The woman who tried to destroy you is begging you. Let me save the man we both hurt. Let me give you the one thing I never gave you before. The chance to walk away. My contact information is below if you want to discuss this. But if I never hear from you, I'll understand. Just please consider it. You deserve to keep all of yourself. Vanessa. Maya read the letter 3 times, then called Dr. Patel. There's another potential donor, Vanessa Chen. 4 out of 6 markers. Can you evaluate her? 2 weeks later, Dr. Patel called with news. Ms. Chen is approved. The 4-marker match isn't ideal. We can proceed with her as donor if Mr. Richardson consents. Maya drove to Baltimore alone, walked into Marcus's hospital room, and told him everything about being a match, about planning to donate, about Vanessa's offer. Marcus listened, his skeletal face unreadable. When she finished, he was quiet for a long time. Vanessa wants to give me her kidney, he finally said like he couldn't quite believe it. Yes, and you were going to give me yours? Yes, Maya. Why? After everything, why were you going to do that? Because Naomi deserves a father. And because I needed to know, I'd done everything I could. And because Mercy is who I've chosen to be, even when it costs everything. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. I don't want your kidney. Maya's breath caught. What? I don't want you to cut yourself open for me. I don't want you to give me part of your body. I don't want you to sacrifice any more than you already have. He was crying now, ugly and honest. I want to live. God, I want to live, but not if it means taking pieces of you. Let Vanessa do it. Let the woman who helped me destroy you help save me. That feels right in a way I can't explain. Marcus, I'm saying no. I'm refusing your kidney, not because I don't need it, because you need to keep it. You need to keep all of yourself. For Naomi, for whatever man eventually deserves you, for the thousands of women you're going to keep helping. You can't do that if you give yourself away piece by piece. Maya felt something crack open in her chest. Relief mixed with grief mixed with something that felt almost like respect. Okay, we'll use Vanessa. The surgery happened 3 weeks later. Maya and Naomi sat in the waiting room while surgeons removed one of Vanessa's kidneys and transplanted it into Marcus. 8 hours of surgery. 8 hours of not knowing if it would work. If Marcus would survive, if this impossible mercy would be enough. When Dr. Patel finally came out, she was smiling. The kidney is functioning. Mr. Richardson is in recovery. Miss Chen is stable. It was a success. No, it wasn't, but you made the right choice. Not choosing Marcus, choosing to be who you are, even when it cost you. He reached across the table, not quite touching her hand. I don't know if there's still a chance for us. I don't know if you can forgive me for leaving when you needed support instead of ultimatums, but I wanted you to know. I see you now. I see what you did, and it's the most extraordinary thing I've ever witnessed. Maya looked at this good man who'd run when things got hard, who'd come back when it was safe, and felt something settle in her chest. Not quite forgiveness, not quite trust, but possibility. I don't know if there's a chance for us either, she said honestly. But I'm willing to find out slowly with no ultimatums, with honesty about what we can handle. I can do slow. Then let's start there. On what would have been her father's 74th birthday, Maya took Naomi to the cemetery. Her daughter was 15 now, navigating high school, splitting time between two parents who'd finally figured out how to coexist peacefully, growing into a young woman who understood that mercy and boundaries could coexist. Mama, do you think Grandpa James would be proud of what you did, saving Daddy, even though it cost you David the first time? Maya thought about it carefully. I think he'd be proud that I was willing to give everything, and equally proud that I was wise enough to let someone else give instead. That's what mercy with boundaries looks like. Being willing but not self-destructive. Do you think Daddy will stay healthy? I hope so. But even if he doesn't, we gave him time. Years, maybe. And that time let you know your father. That's worth something. Naomi nodded, placing yellow roses on her grandfather's grave. I'm glad you didn't die saving him. I'm glad Vanessa did it instead. Is that selfish? No, baby. It's self-preservation. And that's holy, too. They walked back to the car and Maya felt her phone buzz. A text from the foundation just helped our 150,000th woman and child. Your father's legacy continues to change the world. Maya looked at her daughter, at the city skyline in the distance, at the life she'd built from ashes and betrayal and impossible choices. And she understood finally what her father had been trying to teach her all along. Mercy wasn't about saving everyone. It was about being willing to give without destroying yourself in the process. About knowing when to open your hands and when to close them. About understanding that you could be both kind and boundaried, both generous and self-protective. Marcus had gotten his life back. Vanessa had gotten redemption. Naomi had gotten her father. David had gotten a second chance. And Maya had gotten to keep herself whole while still being the person her father raised her to be. That was the real victory. Not that she'd saved Marcus, but that she'd saved herself while being willing to save him, and that was worth more than all the billions in the world. So, let me ask you the hardest question yet. If you were Maya and you were a perfect kidney match for someone who'd destroyed you, someone who'd abandoned you at your lowest point, someone your daughter loved, would you donate? Would you literally give part of your body to save them, or would you let someone else step in? Be brutally honest. Drop your answer in the comments right now, because I guarantee you the comments are going to be split on this one. And here's the deeper question. Have you ever been in a situation where mercy asked for more than you thought you could give? Where doing the right thing meant sacrificing something so big you weren't sure you'd survive it? Tell me your story, because Maya's story shows us that mercy has to have limits. That giving doesn't mean giving until you're destroyed, and that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let someone else carry the weight you've been carrying alone. Now, where are you watching this from? And which of the 4 parts hit you the hardest? Drop your location and tell me. Was it part 1 where she inherited the billions? Part 2 where she destroyed Marcus in court? Part 3 where she let him back into Naomi's life? Or part 4 where she almost gave him her kidney? Comment below. Let's see which moment broke you the most. If you've watched all 4 parts of this series, if you've spent the last 2 hours crying and cheering and questioning everything you thought you knew about forgiveness and boundaries and what we owe the people who hurt us, then you need to do 4 things right now. First, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications, because I post stories like this that will wreck you in the best way. Stories about real people facing impossible choices and finding strength they didn't know they had. Second, smash that like button if you believe mercy should have boundaries. If you believe giving doesn't mean self-destruction. If you believe you can be both kind and protected at the same time. Third, share this entire series with someone who needs to hear it. Someone in a complicated co-parenting situation, someone who's been too merciful and paid the price, someone who's struggling with whether to help someone who hurt them. Share it. Let them know they're not alone in these impossible choices. And fourth, this is important. Go back and watch all 4 parts again, because I promise you there are details you missed. Moments that will hit differently now that you know how it ends. Lessons that will land deeper on the second viewing. Thank you for going on this entire journey with Maya. From her lowest moment when Marcus left her pregnant and grieving, to her highest moment when she inherited billions, to her most powerful moment when she realized mercy doesn't mean martyrdom. This has been the complete story of a woman who learned that real wealth isn't money eats. Knowing who you are and refusing to compromise that, even in the name of doing good. Now go live your life with boundaries and mercy, with kindness and self-protection, with open hands and a guarded heart when you need it. Just like Maya, just like her father taught her, just like you can, too. You are never alone. You are never powerless. You deserve mercy, too.